Good morning, Service Lions community. Hope you're all
Hola.
doing well. Happy Tuesday. First
How you
Tuesday
doing?
of the year for us.
It is first Tuesday of the year. This
Yeah,
last week we were New Year's Eve.
we were the last Tuesday of the year. We're the
We were
last
New Year's Eve.
day of the year.
Yeah. This is a fun day. I am still in Snowpocalypse 25. I'm 32 plus hours and counting without power. So I'm running on a generator today. Here's my I don't know if you can see this or not. That's my makeshift studio. I got a little table lamp light me up.
It works.
You see my lovely background. It's nothing but darkness behind me. So I use Jim's office again. He's let me use his office one more time. So, yeah.
Sweet. Well, you're in Illinois.
How you doing? You're in Illinois too?
I'm surprised you guys got a lot of ice down there.
I'm looking out my window seeing a lot of tree limbs down in my yard. We had a lot of big limbs. Yeah, one of them fell on the mow van, put a dent in it. But we got a generator. I'm thankful for. We stayed warm last night, and I got down into the teens for the first time here. So I'm thankful to have a generator to have a little bit of heat. That's for sure.
Heck yeah. I mean, it's typical for us up here. We don't have a lot of thick ice. It's just icy, like sidewalks, and the roads just have a little glaze of black ice, but nothing too extreme yet.
Yeah.
It seems like that storm went like right through the middle of the country.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking to a lady from Tampa, Florida last night, and Austin is getting married. So if you don't know Austin, he's our son, and he's does all of our techie stuff. And anyway, he's getting married. Him and Morgan are getting married, and they decided to get married in March. So I was booking some reservations down in Florida and talking to a lady from Tampa, and she said it got supposed to get down to 30 degrees last night in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Well, yeah, for them.
Yeah, right. Well, what about
no big deal for us.
All right, in the comments, wherever you're from, type where you're from and what the current temperature is. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
At 20 degrees with no wind chill, so I'll watch those. Did you ever think you'd look at your watch and say, "Oh, it's 20 degrees outside"? By looking at your watch, I tell you, my mind's all over the place this morning. So Dick Tracy, I swear this is a freaking Dick Tracy watch.
Yeah, my phone says we're at 12 in Northern Illinois.
And for those of you who don't know, Mike, Illinois is a very long state. It takes about 8 hours to go from the very bottom end to the top end. And Mike's probably about 4 hours north of me. So
yeah, easily a little over 4 hours. So we're in Joliet, Illinois, me and Zach, and which is about 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops south of Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're in the third largest city in the state, but you're at the very bottom of Illinois.
And believe it or not, it's still about another 45 minutes south of me to get to like Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah, to the very border.
Yeah.
Go over the river. Yeah.
And then Cape, it's about an hour to Cape, and then like Cairo is about 45 minutes as well, 50 minutes. Still a little bit of state left below me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got Eric's in Clarksville, Tennessee, 29 degrees.
Crazy. 29 degrees. Wow.
Well, hey, those of you going to ASTI this week, that's kind of interesting. Say hey to Shayna and Austin. They're going. I ended up staying here. Just got a lot of personal things going on with my family, and of course now without power, I need to stay here and watch the house. So Austin is going in my place, which he's excited about. He's doing a disc presentation. Hey, good morning, Everett. Doing a disc presentation on disc, and then he's doing another presentation on Mom, my office manager. So kind of excited. He's stoked to be able to go to one of these shows. His first one. So yeah. Pretty awesome. 26 in Alabama.
right at the Alabama Tennessee border where Dan's at, Dr. Dan.
Sitting there thinking, okay, we're
Morning,
going to move
Saul.
south. We're wanting to move south in the next couple of years. And, so we're trying to figure out where to move. But man, Florida, hurricanes, Texas, hurricanes, Tennessee still gets too cold. I don't want snow. I'm tired of snow.
Florida's got too much humidity. I don't think I could do it. And all right.
I think I would take humidity over ice right now, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything's a trade-off, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all about turning big ideals into daily wins. That's what it's really about.
That's what it is. What's your dream? What's your big idea? And then doing what it takes to get you there.
Yeah.
Saul says we have Cuban coffee.
Yeah. I have a exchange student daughter in Mexico. And so when we were here, we would play Mexican dominoes. And she got offended. She goes, "No, we don't call them Mexican dominoes. We call them Cuban dominoes." So
there's a difference. All right. I'll open us up in prayer if you want to take the verse, and we'll get going.
I got to make a quick phone call, so I will be right back.
Go ahead. All right, dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this group. I want to thank you for the weather that we're having, the changes that we get to experience, the disruption that you've created in lives that teach us how to deal with things, teach us patience, teach us how to embrace the change that we have that's unexpected, sometimes unwanted. And whenever we have change, it's an opportunity to look to you and give thanks for the blessings that we do have on a normal basis when things are consistent. I ask that you keep everyone safe as they go out throughout their day. Those that are traveling to Asti, that you keep them safe, keep the roads from being icy, and everyone that's just out on their daily runs today, keep everybody in your hands and keep our hearts open to what we experience today and those that we encounter. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Fun stuff. So Galatians 6:9 is our scripture. I'll read my notes here. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So what does this mean? It means this is a good call to maintain endurance and not to lose heart, especially when doing good deeds, living faithfully, or pursuing God-honoring goals. The Apostle Paul in this is encouraging the Galatians to stay committed to acts of kindness, generosity, and godly living, even when it feels thankless or tiring. So in your life or in your business, the journey can be tough, especially when progress feels slow or opposition arises. This verse reminds us to keep going, trusting that perseverance will bear fruit. Sorry, I got to take this other call. This is a horrible timing. Horrible timing.
This is what happens, folks, when you have a spouse that's going to an event and you're left behind to take care of business. Well, today's topic, turning big ideas into daily wins. This week's theme is all about goal setting and achieving goals. So today we're going to focus on turning big ideas into daily wins.
Yes.
And basically, how do we do that? And how do we persevere through all the hardships and struggles of our own ambitions? And how do we plan all that out?
Oh, how do we plan all that out, Mike? That's a great conversation to have.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's never too late to start planning your goals. A lot of people say if you're in January and you're behind the ball on planning and doing your goal setting. But realistically, the best time to start was years ago, the second best time is to start today. So if you haven't set your goals, at Service Alliance Group, we're leaving tomorrow to meet together for a few days through the end of the week. And that's when we're setting our goals. So we're a little bit behind the ball, but we're starting as early as possible in the year. So I don't think that it's a problem if you haven't set your goals for the year yet. The big thing is that you're sitting down and actually setting goals.
Yeah.
And you should be doing this all throughout the year. I think every quarter you should be revisiting your goals and resetting your goals and seeing if you're staying on track.
So how do you start, Mike? That's the big question.
Well, you got to start with your vision, right? I forgot who said it. Start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
There's that quote.
Yeah. So start with the big picture in mind. Look at where do you want to be? Like, let's talk personally. Personally, where do you want to be when you get to that age of, I don't really need to work anymore, or I don't have to work anymore? What does that look like? I don't like the word retire. And the reason I don't like the word retire, I heard John Maxwell talking one time, and somebody asked him, they're like, John, this was 2-3 years ago. He was around 75. John, you're 75 years old now. When do you plan on retiring? And I loved his answer. His answer was, I don't actually plan to retire. He goes, I still believe that God has a lot in store for me. I know I've got at least 9 or 10 more books that I know God wants me to write. And he goes, so when I retire, that means that they'll be putting me in a hole in the ground. So I thought that was just a great answer. I'll never forget seeing and hearing him say that. And it's like, we always have that end goal in mind. When people get to that retirement age, they're like, I want to retire at 65. I want to have X amount in the bank. I want to do this. And what happens? 6 months after they retire, they die, right? So I don't ever see that retirement line, right? My finish line is when, God takes me home. That's the way I'm going to look at it. So now, when do I want to not have to physically labor? That's a different story. I feel as a business owner. Yeah, yesterday. Been great. I feel that, I will, if we don't have a business to run at some point, I don't know what that looks like. That's the crazy point. So that's where you've got to look at, all right, when I get to that point, what do I want my life to look like? I do know Shana and I don't want to live in Illinois. We said that a lot this week, but, we want to have a house in Florida, possibly a house in Tennessee.
Well, I can give you a little advice there.
My phone's ringing again.
Now that your boy's getting married, do it before they have kids. Because once you have grandkids, you're probably going to be stuck if they're staying here. So, all right. So let's break this down. How do you plan out your goals, right? Start with vision boards, use some planning software or just simple whiteboard sessions. I can tell you what I did with the Service Alliance Group when we very first met together. We started with our personal goals for our own lives. And I've always said, this is how you should start your goal setting. Set your personal goals, set your personal visions up and what you want to achieve in your personal life, because your business is a tool to get you there. And then align your business so that it will line up to achieve those personal goals, and set your business goals to be aligned with your personal goals, so that you use your business as that tool to achieve something, right? It's the best way to look at your business. A lot of people just look at your business and think, oh, it's just because I own a business, it's going to make me rich. But that is not the case. I don't know any entrepreneur that has started their business and said, yeah, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 job with a consistent paycheck so I can work twice as many hours for less money and more hassle.
I'll tell you this, the thing that I do see is you look at the richest of rich people and what are they doing? They're still keeping a percentage and they're giving away a ton. Those are the ones you don't hear of too often, but I know they're out there.
Yes, they are out there,
I think that's
there's more of them than you think,
yeah,
because they just can't spend all the money that they have. Once you reach a certain point, but you want to live beyond just making a paycheck and just
yep,
paying the bills. And I think that's where a lot of people in the service industry get stuck. They get into a comfort zone. They get into the mindset that they can't go any further. They can't do better. And that's all they want to do is pay their bills.
yeah,
And to me, that is not enough. That's okay. That's great. And if you are in that place to where you're just paying your bills and things are going steady and working out just fine for you, kudos to you. And I don't want you to think that it's greed to look further and beyond that, because it has nothing to do with greed. It has everything to do with empowering you to help others.
yeah,
By going beyond that, you have the power to help others at that point, and you have the power and the financial means to do more things. And helping other people could be, that could look like just simply hiring people, providing jobs that are stable and fruitful for someone else. One of my own employees, I met with him a couple weeks ago, and she told me, she's like, she's young, and she told me, she says, "Hey, because of you, I was able to get my own place and move out of my parents, and now I've got my own place, and I couldn't have done it without this job." And that made me feel really good, and I was so
yeah.
happy for her, and I gave her a raise at the beginning of the year. So she's just really, really good at what she does, and I I was very honestly happy for her. And I felt like, you know what? I was a part of that and I was able to do that. And I didn't even realize that that's what was going on. Um, because we don't really talk about too much about our personal lives, with our employees. And that's okay. But you need to know what's going on in people's lives so that you can know if you're making a difference in your employees' lives. So make sure that you realize that there's bigger and better things beyond yourself that your
Yeah.
business can definitely help support. So
Oh,
if
another
that's
thing,
one of your goals, you need to actually put that down and say,
yeah,
this is one of the goals, to help others in some way. And you may not even know what that looks like at this point.
yeah. I know talking about the big ideal aspect, having, even if you're a small team, just you, maybe one or two other guys, have that big vision put up wherever you do your training. If you meet at your dining room table, have it to where you can bring it out and have it constantly there when you're doing meetings. I remember doing this. Um, like right now, we've got a 10-year vision, needs to be updated, but huge 10-year vision board that's in our break room. And it shows all the different positions that are available or that will be available. Um, Shows how many CSRs we need, operations. I mean, everything is on there. And when people come in for an interview, that's one of the things that's pointed out. So this is our 10-year vision. Here's all the different positions. And we talk about it a little bit. And it's like, where do you see yourself on this? Where can you see yourself here in this business 10 years down the road? And it just gives them that, oh, this isn't just another job. This is a career for me to be here long term, right? It instills that in their head. So that's something else to keep in mind. Tenure, and then when you're doing your quarterly meetings or whatever, if you don't have those, I would suggest doing quarterly meetings with your team. Remind them constantly. Here's where we're at. Here's where we've been. Here's where we're going, right? And keep that vision alive in them. Pretty important to have.
Yeah. So let's break it down.
Yeah.
You're looking at the big picture. You got your BHAG goals, big, hairy, audacious goals. Break them down into SMART goals. specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's the only way. I don't even like saying that it's the best way to break down your goals. I think it's the only way that you should break down your goals. But break it down so that you can reverse engineer how to get from where you're at now to achieve your goals. And this is the hard part, trying to reverse engineer, because if you've never gone that path, you don't know how to get there. But you can't start from where you are. You have to start at the goal end and then reverse your way back to where you are. Because if you don't do that, if you do it from where you're at now, you'll never even come close to that goal. I've tried it. Trust me. If you start at the goal, the end result, and reverse engineer, the chances of you reaching that goal are exponentially higher, because now you have a solid plan on how to get there. And it doesn't mean that it has to be 100% solid. It's got to be a very good foundational goal and pathway to get there. But if you start at the end, at least the eyes on the prize, right? And then you know what you're going through all these steps to get to. So I would definitely start there. And daily wins are micro actions that will get you there. Okay? Celebrate the small wins. This is what I see a lot of people not doing. They don't realize that these small incremental wins are actually a big deal, because those small incremental wins keep you motivated. And if you don't celebrate those and share those in say a Facebook group that you're in, or share it with your mentors or your groups that you're in, maybe you're in your own mastermind, then if you're not sharing that with your peers, they can't celebrate with you. They can't pump you up. They can't help you walk through that next step that you might be struggling with. Say, hey, I've reached to this point. I've got this micro win that I think is a big deal, because now I'm moving on to the next phase. You wouldn't believe how many people would jump in and help you to avoid issues on your path to success. So definitely share. I've experienced that a lot in groups that I'm in.
I want to drop a poll in here real quick, if we could, Mike. Just put one of those comments up. Which area of your business are you most focused on this year? If you want to leave this up for just a few minutes. Are you focusing on your revenue growth? Type in A in the comments. If you're focusing on your team development this year, type in B in the comments. If you're looking to expand your services this year, type in C. And if you're looking to streamline operations, type in D. What this is going to do is going to give us an ideal from a group standpoint, especially Service Alliance Group, of how the Service Alliance Group can help you out as they go about planning the rest of their year here over the next few days. They're going to take a look at these comments and say, hey, I know such and such here is looking at revenue growth. This is something that we can help them with. Let's put this out there a little bit more. So these ideals, I think this is great to put in here. So,
I'm also looking at this list and I'm just saying yes.
Yeah, all of it would be awesome.
The entire alphabet.
Let's see. E. What could we put in there for E?
You can't have any of it without D.
Streamlining operations.
Yeah, for sure.
So type in the comments which one you're focusing on the most out of all of these. That's a different way to put it. The most. I think that'd be a good thing. But as Mike was saying, break it down. Again, we like 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, and then we break it down quarterly. And then when you really start getting down into the micro aspect of it, monthly, weekly, daily, you got to have goals and all of those. So what about accountability and adaptability, Mike?
I don't like accountability, and I don't like to adapt. I like things my way.
I
or
think
the
that's why we're
highway.
both a little, what's the word? Fluffy? Fluffy? We're both a little fluffy because we don't like accountability.
I've been losing. I've
Yeah.
lost 15 pounds, but
Hey,
I'm
congrats.
I'm I'm at that stagnant, you know, spot where I'm going up and down a couple pounds, and I'm like not continuing down. So
Yeah.
I've leveled off, and it's frustrating, but I know I'll get there. I just gotta
So,
I gotta refocus. It's
yeah,
one of those things where, like, in your business, you start leveling off, and then you've got to refocus on what the prize is, your end result, right?
yeah,
And then you got to work really hard to get there. And it's like you can stay laser focused on a certain thing, like in my example, weight loss, but you get burned out, you get frustrated,
yeah,
you get just lazy, and you're like, man, is this even worth it? And then you see some results, and then
yep,
you're like, okay, it's working, and then you level off, and then you're like getting frustrated again, you
yep,
know. And business is the same way. I get like that with my business. I hire a couple people, and then I'm looking to hire another one, and then something sets me back, and I level off, and I'm like, man, I really shouldn't hire that person. And I'm at that phase right now, and my business is like, do I focus on streamlining
yeah,
more, or do I focus on hiring somebody to take other things off my plate so that I can continue to focus on the business, and
yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
Well, some steps to take this week. We'll dive into this. Saul, he's got R and C. I'm going to assume that was B and C, unless he's got a Spanish speaking typewriter or type keyboard. Then it maybe R is B. I'm not sure. Eric, A, B, and D. One of those are good. Then we will focus on C. That's awesome. 3 steps I want you to take this week. Write down one big ideal for this year, 2025, and break it into quarterly and monthly targets. All right. Um, that could be something as simple as maybe your truck inventory. I see so many guys and gals that struggle even with their truck inventory. Get with Saul at Marcone, get with Reggie at Encompass, help get them. That's what they're there for, is to help you with your truck inventory. So look at that. By the end of this year, I want to have all of my trucks or my truck fully stocked with all the parts that I need, right? That's your big goal for 2025. What does that look like on a quarterly and monthly target? Well, I need to sit down and write all of my parts that I actually use on a regular basis, and maybe a couple special parts. On my truck that I had, 90% of the service calls I went on, I was able to take care of the call the first time, right? It was the big jobs that I had to order and schedule. So what are those everyday things that you're coming across, that you could stock on your truck? Get with Marcone again or Encompass, and what are the other parts that you're going to need quickly, right? Within a day or two or three, and start with that. Write all that down in the spreadsheet. Seriously, I don't think this would be a thing that would take a year to do. I think it's something that you can get within 3 months or less, realistically. But then look at your truck shelving, right? Is your truck shelving you currently got, is it working? Is it not working for all the parts you need? So I'm just trying to give you an ideal in your head of breaking something big down into something that really could only take you less than 3 months to do. And I've actually seen it. I've got a few electrical friends that I've helped set their trucks up with shelving and with parts. And it literally took less than 3 months to build the shelves, to get the inventory, to get them fully stocked. And when I see the pictures come in and they send me the picture, I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. I celebrate with them, right? And that's a key part. No matter what you're doing as a goal, you have to celebrate the win. So write down just one big ideal for 2025, break it down into quarterly and monthly targets. Identify one small daily win that supports this goal and commit to it for 7 days. And then choose somebody that's going to hold you accountable, right? That's what this group is for.
Huge.
You've got Mike, you've got EJ, you've got TK, You've got, what's the other guy with the funky beard, and he wants to be like me, bald on top, and he's kind of scared to commit.
It's kind of, I don't,
He
that,
plays on
that,
roofs sometimes. Anyway,
yeah.
uh, shoot, especially if he
Name
was truck
starts at the end
inventory.
of the alphabet. I think,
Yeah,
I don't know. I call him by
Zip,
many names, but I think he goes
Zimbo,
by
Zimbo.
Zach.
Yeah. Hey, truck stuff. I love truck stuff. Like, if you need an accountability for truck stuff, I'm your guy. I love helping guys out with the trucks and appliance guys. I've helped heating air guys out, electrical guys, appliance guys. I helped a couple plumbers out with their trucks. So yeah.
What is accountability? Let's talk about that for a second, because
yeah,
I can tell you right now, if you're accountable to yourself, you're accountable to nobody.
Yeah.
All right. Because you can't really be accountable to yourself. You have to be accountable to other people. But what are the consequences?
Yeah.
That's where I think a lot of people miss that. In November, I went to a marketing conference. We set out our goals, and we started it. Where are you at now, and where do you want to be by this date? And so we put those two down, and then in the middle, how are you going to celebrate it when you reach that goal? And you're like, that was the fun part. Like, oh man, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to buy this, and this is how we're going to celebrate. And then they hit us with the freaking hammer. They're like, okay, now what's the consequence for not getting that goal? And my wife was with me, and I was like, I slid the paper over to her, and I'm like, it's probably the biggest mistake I ever made. Letting her choose my consequence, or it was the best thing. But I slid it over to her, and I said, you didn't see what I wrote down for celebrating, but it was literally to her benefit, like solely to her benefit is what we would celebrate. And then I slid it over to her. She sees that, and then she puts the consequence down. That's, a painful thing for me, that I have to cook dinner for 6 months every single night from scratch. I can't like order food. I can't just take her out for dinner or anything. I have to actually make it for 6 months straight. And it looks like I may not reach that goal, but I'm trying really, really hard because I don't want that consequence. But it was one of those things where now I'm accountable to what somebody else is putting as a consequence. And it is a very motivating thing.
Well, I'm going to have to jump off of here. I'm going to let you run the rest of the show.
All
I'm
right.
going to leave this open in case I get time to come back in.
We're about wrapped up anyway, so
yeah,
we can just wrap it up now.
Okay. I hate to do that because I think it was still going good, but I'm manning a lot right now with the power still off.
Things going on. That's fine.
Yeah.
Crap.
We've got a lot of our team working from home because we got no power at the office. The generator I have is big enough, but it's not big enough to run, 17 people and heat and air and everything. So everybody's working from their homes today. So
yeah.
Keep us all in your prayers.
Three steps to take away this week. Write down one big idea for 2025. Break it down into quarterly and monthly targets. Identify one small daily win that supports the goal and commit to it for 7 days.
Yep.
Number 3, choose your accountability partner or a system to check it in weekly. Focus on customer retention strategies might be something. Follow-up calls, email campaigns. Those are quick wins.
Easy.
Review and optimize scheduling and dispatching systems for better efficiency. That could be another one. Just get out there and do something. It doesn't have to be a BHAG goal. Just get out there, start making goals, and start saying, I'm going to do this. Incremental wins add up to a big win. So that's how we'll end it. We'll see you next week. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful New Year.